Hi guys, Nathan here from Buyers Club. Welcome back to another market video. We're taking a look at Devonport in Tasmania today. Probably best known for the Spirit of Tasmania ferry that links Tasmania with the mainland, but also now known as a pretty hot property market. Growth has been very strong here recently, but at the same time, prices are still quite affordable. So in this video, we're taking a look at some of the data to highlight a few interesting things about this market. House prices in Devonport have recently exceeded 600k, and as you can see in the chart here, growth has definitely picked up since around late 2024. A lot of the major property markets in Tasmania saw a big boom in prices from about 2020 to 2022, and Devonport was no exception to that. As you can see, following that period, prices did plateau a bit, but they're now doing really well again, and the market's actually up almost 10% in the past year. If we look at days on market too, it's not hard to see just how tight this market is at the moment. Properties are selling on average in less than 30 days, which is a huge change from earlier last year, where days on market were actually up at over 80 days in January 2025. So that trend down has been quite sharp over the past year or so. Similarly, inventory, which is a measure of current market supply, is very tight right now, down at close to 0.5 months worth of stock on the market right now, which is definitely well below what would typically be considered a balanced level of market supply. And despite this being a bit of a smaller market with still less than 30,000 residents, the rental market is also really tight right now. Vacancy rates have held pretty steady at around 1% for most of last year, but have recently been falling even further down toward 0.5%, which is putting immense pressure on rental growth in the market right now, and certainly in the near future, you would expect rents to respond to that pressure. In terms of ongoing population growth, it's encouraging to see how closely Devonport has tracked Tasmania. You'd expect a regional market like this to grow a little bit below the state average overall, with more people obviously tending to move into the major cities, but there's a strong history of very stable population growth here, with very slight deviation away from the broader trend across the state. Taking a bit more of a longer view of housing supply is interesting too. This chart is comparing annual rates of dwelling construction versus the rate of new households being formed in the area. And you can see that as of the most recent data we have on this, Devonport has slipped back into an annual oversupply of housing. But prior to this, there was quite a severe cumulative shortfall of housing spanning 2017 to 2021, which certainly would have contributed to the boom in prices that we saw a few years ago. And we often see this effect in terms of housing development. Obviously, property developers aren't charities, so building activity often improves like this when prices have previously been growing rapidly in a market, as developers expect higher prices in the future and they're looking to capitalize on that. In terms of structural risks here too, I think this looks to be a pretty resilient market in terms of industry composition, with healthcare the major source of employment, though slightly underrepresented compared to Tasmania as a whole. But this just isn't a market that is overly dependent upon primary resources. And the existence of the port here as well is obviously a big anchor for ongoing activity into the future. And on the Port of Devonport is also set to receive a couple $100 million in investment over the next couple of years, with the ongoing redevelopment project that is actually set to raise freight capacity by 25%. So that should offer major economic benefits to the local community moving forward as well. That was some brief highlights from our recent report on Devonport, though. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is Tasmania already on your radar? If so, is Devonport an area that you would consider buying in? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.